Hello and welcome to the 2026 Dorney Park and Wildwater Kingdom Park Tour. Located in the heart of Allentown, Pennsylvania, Dorney Park is one of the oldest operating parks in the Six Flags mega chain. With a combination of vintage rides and high-tech modern thrill rides, Dorney Park has something for everyone to do. Plus, with the added bonus of a water park included with admission, how could you not love a visit to this park? But without further ado, let's get right into the tour as we pass through security and get right into the park. One quick note before we pass through security: the bathrooms are located outside of the security gate. So as soon as you arrive to the park, I 100% recommend heading over to the left of the security gate before you get your bags checked. Once you have then passed through security, you will be then faced with the entry plaza of the park, of course fit with the official park entrance, and to the right is going to be the guest services building, of course with a kind of long line right now just because as of recording this is a Saturday. But make sure if you haven't purchased any tickets in advance that you do go to guest services on the right to pick up your tickets, and once you do have your ticket, then you would then proceed to the main entrance right over here. And we are now officially into the park. This video will be divided into different chapters, so look down below for the chapters that you would like to find out. So right now we are about to start in the main entry plaza. Welcome to the entry plaza section of the video. We are going to turn right initially. First off, you will find a Coke refresh stand up here at the very front of the park. One of the very few Coke refresh stands in the park. Obviously, got to have the Dippin' Dots theme park staple. And then immediately once you curl to the right, that's where you'll find Lost and Founds. So up here by the entrance, over to the right is where you'll find Lost and Found, a Dippin' Dot stand, and a Coke refresh station. And also straight ahead is where the official Wildwater Kingdom entrance is. Now, unfortunately, I will not cover Wildwater Kingdom in this video necessarily. That will be posted in a separate video, just because Wildwater Kingdom and Dorney, I do want to separate Wildwater Kingdom and Dorney Park into two separate videos. So, a Wildwater Kingdom video will be coming out soon. If so, it will be posted in the upper right corner. Making a left now, you would then be faced with the Grand Carousel, which is, of course, a staple of any sort of theme park. And quoted as from that sign over there, this originated actually from Cedar Point from 1972, and this stayed at Cedar Point from that time until 1995, when they then transferred it over to Dorney Park, in which they built this very nice building for it, and it has been a staple of the park for many, many years to come now. If you look to your right, you will find the first coaster of the day, which is going to be Talon, the Grip of Fear. Now, the entrance is not for a little ways now, but this is a very nice front entry coaster, and it greets guests very nicely for your day. We won't get to the entrance till a little later, but that is where you will find the views for Talon. And straight ahead is going to be the main midway of the entry area. Of course, comes with a main stage area. That's where most of the Dorney Park shows will be had. Of course, with Viva La Fiesta, which will be coming up in the summer months, running from June 22nd to around the end of July. So as of recording right now, the Viva La Fiesta event is not currently on, but if you are planning your visit around June or July, be prepared for the Viva La Fiesta event. And of course, this main midway is fit with a lot of merchandise stores, a lot of food offerings, such as the Carousel Emporium over there. Of course, they have some name brands such as Cinnabon and Rita's, but also just some generic food stalls like Amore's Pizza over here. And then down the road a little bit, it's going to be Cluck's and Frank's. So down here on this main midway is where you will find a lot of those culinary and merchandise options. little bit of a correction from the last clip. They actually renamed this food area to Holy Smokes Barbecue Sandwiches. If you are familiar with Best of the West at Six Flags Great Adventure, that is the similar food offerings with smoked sirloin sandwich, pulled pork sandwich, all of those good things. So new food offering here, which is Holy Smokes. We have now made it to the end area of the Midway. At the very tail end of it is going to be another ride, Wave Swinger, another staple of the park that has been here for the longest time now. We're now going to make a little loop around the Midway, where you will find a soccer challenge game. This is going to be the other side of the Midway, which is also where you'll find another ride, Kaleidoscope, a very weird kind of circle ride. It's hard to describe. I'll put a video up right here. This is kind of how the ride kind of looks when it is in motion. It is a very unique ride, although there is a few of these across the Legacy Cedar Fair chain. But neat little ride here. But walking a little past Kaleidoscope is going to be one of the main dining areas of the entry area, which is Coaster's Drive-In. This is where the just generic theme park food you will find, such as cheeseburgers, chicken tenders, and fries. Although it is a very reliable dine-in restaurant, in my opinion. They do have a little bit of indoor seating, although most of the seating you will find outside, since there is kind of like limited seating in there. But either way, Coaster's Drive-In, one of those restaurants that I do recommend. Directly next to Coaster's Drive-In is the funnel cake stand. Not just generic funnel cakes, but all assortment of funnel cakes, as we can see by the large menu over there. So this is where you'll get your funnel cakes in the park. Back up here by the carousel area, after you have made the loop of the main Midway, you will find at the very exit of the park is the photo stand. That's where we can view any of your photos you have gotten through the day, or at the very start of the day you can purchase a photo plan, and then you would then of course view them at the very end of the day. Photo plans usually go around for $40-ish. It can give and take. It depends on the day, but that is where you're going to find the photo stands. Back up here by the Holy Smokes Barbecue, we are going to hang a right. This is where most of the Midway games you're going to find here. Most of them are a little bit of a limited staff. You will find Midway games later on in the tour, but a lot of the Midway games are posted up here at the very top of the main Midway area. Also in the very center of the Midway games is another Coke refresh station. Always gotta have one of those. Actually, that is home to one of the only Coke freestyle machines in the park, which is a little odd choice in my opinion, just because if they are going to have Coke freestyle, you would think they would have them scattered around the park, but nope, just this area right here is where you're gonna find the only Coke freestyle machine. Just take note of that. And now we are at the very end of the Midway Games area, where most of the two of the other rides of the area are going to be. That is going to be Dodge 'em, the park's bumper cars, and of course this is the entrance area for Talon, the Grip of Fear. This year is actually Talon's 25th anniversary, so they are very proud of their history and coasters here. So they have tons and tons of merchandise related to Talon's 25th around the park. But this is a very nice B&M invert in my opinion, about mid-tier in regards to other B&M inverts, but do not sleep on Talon here, as it's got many great positive G-forces, a lot of whip of course in the zero G roll. Subscribers of the channel will know that I love zero G rolls, but do not skip Talon when you come to Dorney Park. Now I am just going to give you a quick tip. Most of the guests go to Talon first, naturally, just because it is the front entrance coaster and they do want to get on at whatever they see, basically. So if you're coming to Dorney Park, I would say save Talon for later in the day. That way the line wouldn't be too terrible. Although also with Wildwater Kingdom, that does close early, so keep that keep that in mind. So when Wildwater Kingdom closes, most of the guests then just migrate to Talon. So you're gonna have to find a good balance to ride that later in the day. I would typically recommend around 1 or 2 o'clock after you've gotten everything else done. But again, not a ride to skip. And about off the side of the Midway Games area is the Fun Zone Arcade, the park's arcade area. Kind of self-explanatory there. Back up here by the Wave Swinger area, we are going to hang a right. This is where most of the park's water attractions are going to be that are not part of Wildwater Kingdom. The first being Whitewater Landing, straight ahead. This is the park's Shoot the Chute attraction, which basically gives a big splash in the runoff over there, in which they have kindly put out a bridge so that guests can get soaked by the big splash zone. This is known to be a little bit unreliable, as we can see by, as of recording, the boats on the lift hill. But when it is open, and if you're looking to get a good cool off from the hot day, 100% recommend Whitewater Landing up here. Directly across the Midway from Whitewater Landing is one of the park's 2 trains, which is the Cedar Creek Cannonball. This is the more traditional train ride of the park, given a steam train rather than what you will see later in the video. Do keep in mind that this usually does open at around noon, so this is not exactly running at opening, so just keep that in mind when you're coming to the Cedar Creek Cannonball. Kind of tucked away in the corner here is going to be Thunder Canyon, which is the park's River Rapids ride. This one typically does get a longer line just because most of the Wildwater Kingdom guests would migrate over to here, although most of the main park guests do not exactly know where to find the entrance, although I will show you the entrance in just a bit. So just keep in mind this is a little bit of a slow loader as well, so that's another reason why this line does get a little bit long, as we can see by the many switchbacks over there. But this is a decent River Rapids ride. You won't get too wet from the rapids, but there are plenty of waterfalls to get wet from, so you will get soaked if you ride Thunder Canyon. And the trek that is the entrance, you are going to want to cross the train tracks over here, in which you can see the Cedar Creek Cannonball train right over there. But you're going to cross the tracks, and then you're going to find the entrance right over there. So now you know where the Thunder Canyon entrance is. Back up near Whitewater Landing, I'm going to hang a left here, and you're going to find the park's second coaster coming from the entrance, which is going to be Wild Mouse. Now, I would recommend, if you're trying to get all of the coaster credits, to go to this one first, simply because it is a very slow loader, and obviously it can only hold about four people per car, so that equals a line, as you can see by everyone waiting in that line right there. The slow loading combined with it's sending it out only about 1 vehicle every minute or so equals a bad capacity ride. So would recommend going to Wild Mouse first in the morning. Although we will I'll also note out the second indoor seating location, which is going to be Whitewater Tavern. This is where most of the flatbread options are going to be. They also offer some chicken salads, as stated by the signs out front here. This is a good place to cool off and sit down while eating some great food. There's also some nice TVs in there, so you can have some live entertainment while you eat inside the air conditioning. So very nice food location to eat, in my opinion. Directly next to Whitewater Tavern is going to be Cooper Canyon Luxury Lounge. This is basically just a season pass member lounge. Also a nice place for families to go. And directly across the Midway, you will find the official entrance to Whitewater Landing right on the other side over there. Do note that this does open like Cedar Creek Cannonball around noon, although just because the boat is on the lift hill right now, it does not appear that it might open today or not. It is kind of 50-50 at that point, but directly across from the Whitewater Landing entrance is going to be the third coaster that you will find from the entrance, Hydra the Revenge, the park's B&M floorless coaster. This is one of the weirder B&M floorless coasters out there. Simply put, it already starts out with a weird element, and that being the JoJo roll. Highly recommend sitting in the front row to get a good view of that. And along with that, there's just some wonky shaped elements, such as the very weirdly shaped Cobra roll over there. It's just an all-around package, in my opinion. It is a pretty decent floorless coaster. If I had to add there, it is a little bit on the shaky side, so just do keep that in mind. I would recommend doing this after you ride Talon around 2. It does get a sizable line. To conclude the top area of the park, to the right of Hydra, you're going to find the Parkside Pavilion. This is where most of the group catering events will happen. And across the midway from Hydra is going to be the Chicken Shack with all the chicken tender offerings, anything chicken related. But that, of course, will conclude the top main entrance area of the park. On to the next section. So actually, we are going to take a quick detour from the main park tour. We're going to turn left into the Dorney Park's main kiddie area, which is, of course, Planet Snoopy. There are, of course, multiple entrances to Planet Snoopy, but this is going to cover from the Hydra entrance all the way to the main entrance up by the front. So once you enter through the Hydra entrance to Planet Snoopy, to the left you're going to see Flying Ace Balloon Race, which is basically a basket ride that kind of lifts up in the air. Very classic to any sort of park kiddie area. And then immediately to the left you'll see Snoopy's Rocket Express, which is one of the more popular ones in the land, which basically takes a scenic circular tour around the front area of the land up here. And then immediately to the right, you will see Snoopy's Junction, which is a train ride up near the hillside of the park. To the left, you will also see Peanuts Showplace, which is the main stage entertainment area for the land. This is also where you'll find the Peanuts Playbook Show, which is, again, one of the other entertainment offerings here at Dorney Park. Directly across the Peanuts Showcase is going to be the Family Care Center, where you'll find any lost children. I believe there's also a first aid in there, so that's where you'll get medical attention. There's a nice little Snoopy statue over there. Directly ahead is going to be what I'm going to call the Woodstock area of the park, where the Woodstock teacups are. Linus Launcher, which is actually also one of the more popular ones in the park, where you basically lay on your stomach and get basically whipped around in that circular motion. And also, this is where you will find Woodstock Express, a generic Zamperla kiddie coaster. You can find these at basically any major theme park around the world. Although this one is one of the older ones, as it was built in about 1999. So a good little starter coaster for the kiddos. And also in this little pocket over here is 2 more flat rides: Sally's Swing Set, a Zamperla swing, and Peanuts 500, which is basically a mini version of the Whip, which we will get to later. But they've got some nice themed cars around here. Do recommend for this if you are coming with your children. Then we are going to turn around from the Woodstock area, and to the left is a nice little rock structure with a nice little waterfall with, of course, Snoopy snow tubing up there. It's also got a nice sign. This is also a nice photo op over there. Although straight ahead, you will also find the main gift shop of the area, which is the Snoopy Boutique. This is basically where you'll find the main collection of Peanuts merchandise. There's also a soda shop in there, as stated by the subtitle over there. And of course, can't have a Peanuts area without a psychiatric help booth. Iconic this is. Up to the right of Snoopy Boutique is going to be the Whitewater Landing entrance to the area, so just keep that in mind when you are coming. But we're going to turn around next to Supper Time over here, which is the land's culinary option. We're going to also turn left where the bulk of the rides of the land are going to be. That is going to be this little ride right here, which is Snoopy's Air Race. When we turn directly across the midway, that's where you'll find Peanuts Road Rally, which is basically a tracked little tractor ride there. Straight ahead is where you'll find Kite Eating Tree, of course, in the sort of wooded area of the land. Very nice placement there. That is going to be your Zamperla Frog Hopper. Directly across Kite Eating Tree is going to be a wagon wheel. Nice little mini Ferris wheel for the kids. Directly across Wagon Wheel is going to be Camp Bus, a Zamperla Crazy Bus, another staple of any sort of theme park kiddie land. And across from Camp Bus is going to be Flying Ace, a mini swinging ship. Dorney Park also does have a swinging ship, which we will get to later. Although next to Flying Ace, this is going to be the main entrance to the land, up by the sort of main entry plaza over there. But we're also going to turn around just because we got one more ride to go, which is Charlie Brown's Wind Up. Basically another one of those Zamperla basically mini swing ride, as we've seen from the swing ride earlier. But that will conclude the brief detour to Planet Snoopy. We are going to now exit out towards the hillside of the park. Land area, I should say. Right next to the main Auntie Anne's over there, and next to the hill is the final entrance to the land. Right next to Linus Launcher, and right next to the main rock structure over there. Welcome to Section 2 of the Dorney Park tour. That is going to be covering the midsection of the park, and that is going to start actually right here at Good Time Gift. This is the main gift shop of the park, basically up near the exit for the park. So when you are coming from either the bottom of the hill or the main midway up there, you can find an entrance on this side and then on the other side. This is where most of the general park apparel is going to be, and also where you're going to find attraction-specific park apparel in here. Also, occasionally they do have Peanuts meet and greets either outside or inside of the building, so that is where you're going to find that. Connected to Good Time Gifts is where you're going to find first aid of the park. And as previously mentioned, Good Time Gifts does have two entrances. This one being the other side of the entrance, where it basically faces the hillside over there. So when you're exiting up, most likely from the bottom of the hill over there, you're going to go over to this way into Good Time Gifts from this entrance. Dorney Park is also known for having many name brand culinary locations, Auntie Anne's being one of them, located just below the main entry of the hill, also next to some bathrooms over there. Definitely need bathrooms. Auntie Anne's, unfortunately, is not on the season pass meal plan, so keep that in mind when if any of you season pass members are coming to the park. And continuing down the hill to the very left is going to be the candy shop Sweet Spot. Again, this is where most of the candy you're going to find in the park. Also, a good location for fresh fudge, as advertised over there. You can also find fudge in the Good Time the very right of the Good Time Gifts region, but Sweet Spot is where you're going to get like the basically custom fudge, if you want to put it like that. And also taking a break on a hill right here is going to be the top of the main Ferris wheel hill. Now, unfortunately, it has been known for being down a good portion of the year. Although this does typically open up later in the day, as we can see by some employees starting to work on it right now. But again, please don't plan on coming here earlier in the day. I would definitely plan on riding this later in the day. That way, you get some good sunset views of the park. Continuing now down the hill is where you're gonna find the bulk of the flat ride collection in the park. But just want to note, quick note, there is a basketball game to the right of the hill. This one is the less popular of the two basketball games, which again we will get to later. But this one, of course, themed to Sprite. You can get some nice little prizes from that. Speaking of prizes, this is where, down at the very bottom of this hill, is where the second collection of Midway games are going to be. Of course, right next to the nice little sign setup they have right here. You can see that the first of the many, the ring toss game over there. But if we are to turn right, this is where the bulk of the games collections are going to be. So, two different games collections here at Dorney Park. One at the top of the park and one at the bottom of the hill at the park here. Hanging a right at the sign sort of plaza over here is where the flat ride bulk collection is. That being Music Express directly across from the main Midway games. Straight up ahead, you're going to find Tilt-A-Whirl, definitely a not skip option if you're looking to boost up your flat ride collection. And then around the corner over here is going to be the third flat ride in the bulk collection up here after the little bit of a hill step up here, so just to keep in mind there. But around the corner and around this building is going to be the entrance to Enterprise. Classic Enterprises at that seem to be going extinct in place for modern sort of open Enterprises. So when you're coming to Dorney Park, definitely do not skip Enterprise, as we do not know how long the lifespan is going to be for this. So definitely plan on doing this when you're coming to the park. In the area of the flat ride collection over here, that's where it connects back up to the Hydra Path and of course Planet Snoopy as well. We are then going to go down to this path, which will take you around sort of the flat ride area and around the Midway games. This area is also a off the beaten path, so this is another one of those low crowd areas, fit with a nice little seating area over there, of course. It is sort of wooded, so this is a nice little shaded area as well. So if you want to get out of the sun while you're walking around, I would totally recommend coming this way to get some good shaded areas. Wrapping around the building here, which, fun fact, hasn't been used in like 5 years or so. It was definitely before COVID, before that closed, so definitely not something you would want to do here. But straight ahead, you will find a funnel cake and ice cream stand. Definitely another option for funnel cake, although it is mainly just for ice cream, just because you do already have a funnel cake stand up by the front of the park. This is sort of a region where not a lot is happening, mainly just seating areas. There is another Coke refresh station up there. This is another building that has sat empty for a good amount of times now, so just kind of a vacant area at this point. But this is also where the center stage will find. This is essentially the exact middle of the park. So this is where many special events occur. It is a nice shaded seating area, so whenever you are tired and want to get out of the sun, would definitely recommend sitting here. There has been too many shows in the past couple of years, mainly focused on the Halloween haunt season. That's when the shows start to ramp up, but usually this is just for like event spaces and sometimes catering areas for special events. Banking a left on the aforementioned empty building is going to be Thunder Creek Mountain, hiding in the back over here, which is the park's log flume. This is again one of those more popular attractions, even though it is sort of off the beaten path over here, just because it is definitely iconic. That drop off the mountainside is one of the larger on a sort of log flume, especially since it uses the terrain to its advantage. So if you're looking for a good splash and you're willing to wait in that line over there, would definitely recommend checking out Thunder Creek Mountain. Walking past the front of the center stage area and also past the Coke refresh station over here, we are going to hang a right because a very special attraction is back here, which typically does not get any lines in the park, especially on crowded Saturdays as of the recording date today. That is, of course, Demon Drop here, which is one of the only rides of its kind in North America. This is a dying breed Intamin drop tower, which is absolutely insane. That dropping feeling, especially on that portion of right there, is incredible. Although, another fair warning, this does get a little bit rough towards the end with the return run there. So if you're prone to roughness in a way, I would kind of recommend skipping out on this. But to my thrill seekers out there, this is definitely the ride for you. The Demon Drop Plaza is a bit of a dead-end pathway, so I would only recommend going that way if you do plan on riding Demon Drop. So we will continue on our mid area tour, and to the left is going to be another food location. That's going to be Center Stage Burgers and Fries. It is kind of self-explanatory, offering many burgers and fries. That I kind of just explained what it is basically. It does typically get one of the longer lines in the park, so would not exactly recommend eating there, only if you really see that there is nobody waiting in line. But behind the building is the entrance to Dominator, the park's SNS shot and drop towers. One side basically shoots you up. That is going to be red side, so that shoots you up. And then the green side shoots you down. You go all the way up and then drop. Similar to Demon Drop, it is one of the other drop towers here in the park. Although I do think I prefer Demon Drop for the dropping feeling. This one is the bit smoother drop tower though. Next up on the flat ride list in the midway area is going to be the classic whip ride. This, along with the other coaster in the park, Thunderhawk, is one of the older attractions in the park, over 100 years old. This is definitely not a skip, as this whip is very fast and so much fun. Definitely, when you're coming with your family, do not skip that. And speaking of, we have another gift shop here, The Edge. This is where a lot of the other attraction-specific merchandise is going to be. Of course, alongside just general theme park, Dorney Park merch. Here is some more game stalls next to the main midway and flat ride collection. And up ahead is going to be the park's Chickies and Pete's location. Of course, in the Wild Water Kingdom video, you will have known that Dorney Park does have two different Chicky and Pete's locations. This one being the main Chicky and Pete's in the dry park. This one, as you can see, gets the longest line in the park, so only here if you are in the mood for Chicky and Pete's, and this is the absolute last option. This does have indoor seating though, so that is a definite plus to eating here. But across from Chicky and Pete's is the last flat ride in the sort of middle section of the area, the Swinging Ship Sea Dragon. In my opinion, this is one of the better swinging ships in the industry, just because it gets so high and the lap bar is a little bit looser on you, so you definitely get some good positive forces on that. But with that, we have officially completed the loop around, and that will conclude the middle section of the park. Welcome to section 3 of the park tour. This is going to cover everything in the back area of the park. So, including that is the main basketball 3-point challenge. Basically, you just get included hydration over there, although you can go for some of the prizes over there just for $15, I believe. And then right immediately after is going to be the park's other train, as I mentioned, that being the Zephyr Railroad. This basically takes you on a full tour around the entire back area of the park. Would definitely recommend a ride on that, although there have been some reports that the inside of the Zephyr is a little bit tight, so keep that in mind. And on a hot day like this, it might be a bit too much, too hot in there. So again, just make sure that you are keeping that in mind before taking the tour around. Although on a Saturday like this, doesn't typically get too long of a line, so would definitely highly recommend Zephyr if it is a walk-on. A big part of the back area of this park is the fact that it is very much so wooded and very much so nature driven, as you can see by this creek that runs through the back of the park. That's why that bridge is up there, so it can basically connect the two different regions of the back area of the park, which is going to be this region and then that region over there. Now this region over here is of course the Steel Yard, which is the newest area to the park. Back in 2024, when they were building their massive dive coaster, as you can see up there, Iron Menace, they wanted to tie in the entire themed area with it, and that's how they came up with the Steel Yard. So coming up here will be the complete tour of the area. The very first ride you will come across, and one of the other coasters in the park, is going to be Possessed, an Intamin impulse coaster. Despite its short track length, it definitely packs a punch. Definitely not one to skip when you come to Dorney Park. Directly across from the midway from Possessed is going to be Steel Yard Gifts, which is basically all of the Iron Menace apparel you can get, combined with, of course, Possessed and a few other attractions here and there. But, of course, since it is in the Steel Yard and themed to, yes, Steel Yard Gifts, it is mostly Iron Menace themed merchandise. To the right is a very nice seating area, definitely inside of the in the shade, which is a very good break from the sun. Also gives you a break from the what I forgot to mention, the Iron Mill over there, which is one of the better restaurants in the park. Basically, their focus is flatbread pizzas, although they have a very good signature crispy chicken sandwich. Would highly recommend going to Iron Mill, especially since it typically doesn't get too long of a line in the park. And then you can come over to this shaded area over here to eat your food inside the shaded area. But the main attraction, of course, of the Steel Yard is the 160-foot dive coaster Iron Menace. This was built in 2024, so one of the newer coasters of the park. Has built up a reputation to have just a bit of a rattle to it, especially on that wild final turn on going into the brake run. I don't know how that ended up there, but either way, still a very fun ride and definitely one of the priorities here in the park. Now, I would recommend going here to the back area of the park and going to this first, since it typically gets one of the longer lines in the park, since dive coasters typically attract many people. So coming here to the back side of the park first and hopping on a ride on Iron Menace first is what I would recommend you to do. Now, if there is sometimes that Iron Menace may go down, or after you are completed your Iron Menace ride, that is where MT Buckets comes in, the park's flying scooters. Now, don't judge a book by its cover. It does kind of look like a kiddie ride at first, but once you get really going with it, you can really soar basically sideways on the flyers here. So do not skip MT Buckets despite its size. At the base of the Iron Menace lift hill is where you'll find the McTavish Steel Factory, which is the entrance to the ride. And over to the right is where you'll find a bathroom, just in case you do need to go to the bathroom after your rides on Iron Menace. That is the basics of the Steel Yard area. We'll now turn around, head back to the other side of the creek. Back up here near the shade structure, we're going to make a left to head over to the other side of the creek while crossing this bridge. This is where a good majority of the backside rides are going to be. Some two coasters included, a few other flat rides, and a lot of shaded wooded areas. So again, another one of those areas where you can get a lot of shaded and areas off the beaten path with not a lot of crowds around. But first ride, part of the other side of the creek, is going to be Revolution, basically a claw ride that swings back and forth as well as spins. It's a neat little ride, although it does get typically a longer line just because it is a slower loader. So if you would, I would have that secondary for now. But the main attraction of the other side of this creek is right over there, Steel Force. This is the tallest attraction at Dorney Park, and basically spans the entire backside of the park. Main entrance is going to be at the very end over there. This is basically the backside of the park boundaries, so you can tell how long this ride is. This is one of the better attractions here at Dorney Park, just because of its sheer size and speed alone. So do not skip a ride on Steel Force when you are coming to Dorney Park. That is the basics of the Steel Force Plaza. We are now going to hang a left down to this path, which is going to be the more shaded path. There isn't too much going on this area over here, although you do get some good views of the wooden coaster Thunderhawk here. It's basically just lined with plants, a bunch of banners down the line, all sorts of things like that. This path, of course, dumps you out into this open area plaza over here with a bathroom building over here, and also the final 3 rides of the back area. First of them you'll come across is Road Rally, which is basically a tracked car ride. Now, recently this year they did reverse it, so now that you enter over that way and then exit through that way. Pretty interesting sort of style on the antique cars, although it does seem to be that they're not really antique cars, but kind of like speed cars in a way. Although that's about as fast as I go, to be honest. But up ahead, that's going to be the classic Scrambler ride. Always love a ride on any sort of theme park Scrambler. This one being, in my opinion, one of the better scramblers in the theme park industry. So once you have completed all the coasters and are on the flat ride hunt, this would be one that I would recommend. Over by the Dorney Park postcard, that is the exit to the aforementioned bridge that got you over the creek, and that dumps you out onto this side of the area, the back side of the area. And to the left is the entrance to the aforementioned Thunderhawk coaster. This is the oldest coaster in the park and has gone through certainly many changes throughout the years. First of which is a major layout change, second of which is a train change, and of course that is all posted up next to here by the entrance. Now, Dorney Park does love their history, and this timeline of Thunderhawk's history is no different. So come by the Thunderhawk and next to the Thunderhawk entrance to get a piece of theme park history. Next to the Zephyr tracks is going to be the final loop around of the back area. And that, of course, will conclude all of the sections of Dorney Park. That does complete the loop. I have covered every single area in the park, so I'll send it back up to the front entrance area to give a brief recap and finish out the video. So now that you know the entire park layout, what do I recommend to do? Well, I'm going to break it down into the priorities. So I would absolutely prioritize all of the coasters here. They have such a complete lineup that you basically have to do everything. If you were to skip anything, it would be Wild Mouse, but just make sure to go there or Iron Menace first to get all of the coaster credits out of the way. Now, there are a few priority flat rides as well, that being both the Dominator sides up and down, definitely Demon Drop, and as well as MT Buckets. So those are the priority flat rides. Now, there are some secondary flat rides that that I do recommend. Those are being along the lines of Revolution, Enterprise, or stuff like Music Express, stuff like that. Now, if you can do everything else, that's completely fine. Although those are the stuff that I do recommend you do when you come here to Dorney Park. But Anyway, that is going to do it for the 2026 Dorney Park Park Tour. Make sure to leave your thoughts of this video in the comment section down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and of course, subscribe for more theme park content. And I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great day.